Hi, and welcome back to my podcast. Today, I want to speak about something really simple but deeply practical, and that is the topic of how to rest in awareness. Not as a spiritual idea, not as some elevated state, not as something you need to achieve, just as something you can notice right now in ordinary life. Because most of us are tired, not just physically, mentally tired, emotionally tired, tired of managing thoughts because that's what we're told to do. Tired of trying to fix ourselves because that's what we're told to do. Tired of carrying everything. We try so hard to control our inner world. We try to stay positive because, again, that's what we're told to do. We try to heal because that's what we're told to do. We try to manifest. And underneath all that effort is usually the same belief that I need to change something about myself before I can feel okay. But what if rest doesn't come from changing experience? What if it comes from noticing what's already here underneath experience? And that is what we are exploring today. So let's start simply. Right now, experience is happening. There's sound, there's breathing, there may be sensations in your body, there may be thoughts reacting to what I'm saying. All of that is here. Now, notice this. How do you know any of that is happening? Because something is aware of it. That something is awareness. Not mystical, not special, just the basic fact that experience is being known right now. You don't create awareness, you don't access it, you don't build it. It's already here. If you can hear this, awareness is present. If you can feel your body, awareness is present. If you can notice thoughts, awareness is present. Resting in awareness simply means shifting from being lost inside experience to noticing the knowing of experience. So instead of being caught in thoughts, you notice that thoughts are appearing. Instead of being overwhelmed by emotions, you notice that emotions are being felt. Instead of being inside the body, you notice sensations happening within awareness. Nothing changes, your relationship to it changes. So you don't rest as the person, you rest as what's aware. And this is where people usually get stuck. They try to rest by calming the body or stopping the mind, but awareness doesn't need calming. Thoughts move, emotions move, sensations move. Awareness does not. So, resting in awareness doesn't mean making life peaceful, it means recognizing the steady background, the steady space that's already here. You're not escaping life, you're noticing that life is happening within something that isn't disturbed by it. So, I don't know if you've heard the word contraction mentioned in the manifestation community or non duality community before. When I say contraction, I mean what happens when awareness gets pulled into experience. It gets pulled into the body and mind and tightens around experience. And you'll definitely recognize it. Contraction feels like tension in your chest or your throat or your tummy, mental looping, overthinking, resistance to what's happening, a sense of me versus life trying to fix or escape. That is contraction. It's when awareness forgets itself and temporarily believes it is the experience instead of there is anxiety being felt. It becomes I am anxious. Instead of there is sadness here, it becomes I am broken. Awareness collapses into the story, and that's where suffering comes from. Not from sensations, not from emotions, from contracting around them. And the simple shift is to notice what's happening. Notice that you're aware of it. That alone starts to release contraction. You don't force relaxation. You don't push thoughts away. You just allow experience and recognize yourself as the space that it's happening in. It's a bit like unclenching a fist. You don't open the hand, you just stop gripping. So, what's the point of resting in awareness? This is a question some of you may have. What's the point? Why does it matter? The point isn't to escape life. The point isn't to stop being human. The point isn't to detach. The point is freedom. When you rest in awareness, you stop living from survival mode. You stop being run by every thought. You stop reacting from old emotional patterns. You stop making sensations mean something about you. Instead of being inside experience, you meet experience from this space. And that changes everything. You respond instead of reacting. You feel your emotions without drowning in them. You hear your thoughts without believing every single one. And this is what people mean by peace. It's not constant happiness. Peace is not being at war with your inner world 24/7. Resting in awareness gives you that because you realize thoughts are just thoughts, feelings are just feelings, sensations are just sensations, and none of them define you. And when they no longer define you, they lose their power. You stop waiting to be healed, confident, or perfect before you live. You live from wholeness instead of chasing it. And that's the point. Not enlightenment, just living your real life without being trapped in your head. So I used to be someone who said they suffered really bad with anxiety and overthinking, and how resting as awareness helps with anxiety and overthinking. Anxiety feels overwhelming because awareness has collapsed into the body mind. Everything feels personal, everything feels urgent. But when you rest in awareness, you notice anxiety instead of becoming it. You feel sensations without adding stories. You let thoughts pass instead of chasing them. And something shifts. Not because anxiety disappears, but because you're no longer trapped inside of it. Overthinking loses momentum when it's seen, and awareness doesn't argue with thoughts, it simply notices them. And when they're noticed, they naturally dissipate, they slow down. So, how does contraction show up in relationships? So, contraction in relationships shows up like you would constantly need reassurance. You overanalyze text messages. You fear abandonment. You try to control outcomes. That's awareness collapsed into identity. Resting in awareness brings calmness because you stop making your partner responsible for your safety. You stop chasing validation. You respond from presence instead of insecurity. You still care, but you're not gripping tightly. And just that alone changes the dynamic of the relationship. How contraction connects to desire and manifestation. When you're contracted, desire feels like lack. It feels like I don't have, I need, I'm waiting. But when you rest in awareness, you notice that desire itself is an experience happening now. The feeling of wanting, the image, the sensation, all of it is already here. You stop chasing outcomes, you stop checking your experience, your physical experience, you stop forcing. And from this relaxed state, things unfold more naturally for you, not because you made them, but because resistance dropped. So, let's do this together. You don't need to close your eyes, just notice something right now. Maybe your breath, maybe a sensation, maybe a sound. Now, notice whatever you are aware of, you cannot be that. Whatever you are aware of, you are not that. You are the awareness of it. Okay? Experience is here and you are the knowing of it, the one who is aware that experience is happening. So just rest there for a few seconds, no effort, no fixing. If thoughts appear, let them. If sensations move, let them. Everything is allowed. That allowing is resting. So the truth is, you don't need to become anything. You don't need to reach some future version of yourself. You don't need to fix your mind. You simply notice, I am aware. And you let yourself rest there again and again and again. In the middle of your day, in the middle of emotions, in the middle of ordinary life. This isn't spiritual, it's practical. And it's available right now. And it's always been here. Thank you for being with me today. And remember, nothing is wrong with you. You are awareness having an experience. And awareness doesn't need improving. And I will see you in the next one.